Radio Network.
It is that time again. Welcome into a Wednesday edition. Another shortened show today by a half hour as we'll have the leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz from 4:30 to 5:30. Speaking of Tommy Wirtz, he's out on the move tomorrow. Exploring a brew pub tomorrow down in the 3rd Ward right there on St. Paul. Go down there, have some lunch, hang out with him. He'll be on from 11 till noon tomorrow doing his show downtown Milwaukee, down in the 3rd Ward area. Be a lot of fun. Got some free shirts to give away as well. Obviously, first come, first serve type deal, and we only have so many. So once people get there and they take them, then that's it. And then you'll have to wait for the next appearance. So he's going to be down there exploring brew pub almost like once a month throughout the baseball season doing a leadoff show. So definitely want to go down there, see Tommy Wirtz, have some great food, have some great beverages, and enjoy what should be a really nice day out tomorrow for sure. Coming up on today's show, kind of packed in there with guests a little bit. John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals, they're getting ready to start their playoff series in Winnipeg. He'll join us. Normally that would be at 4:45 on Wednesday, but since that'll be the leadoff show, he'll join us today about 2:45. I'll talk about the crew at 3. Jeff Rieger from The Ticket in Detroit. Things got all messed up yesterday. We were trying to get him on. He joins us at 3:20. Talk about the Lions draft prospect and get his thoughts on the Tigers a little bit from last night as well. Then at 4 o'clock, Dustin Klug, videos content ambassador. What makes him an ambassador over here? Charlie calling him an ambassador.
That's what his title is on Twitter. I think he officially works with the Vikings to help do like jersey swaps, stuff like that for them. And then he also is on a couple podcasts. He's pretty big on TikTok, has about 24,000 followers on there.
There you go. So Dustin Klug will join us coming up. We'll look at the Vikings, their draft needs and so forth. And then Ross Uglem from the Packer Report and their unbelievably good Green Bay draft guide that I have that we were talking about yesterday. He's one of the guys that does a bunch of writing for that draft guide. He'll come on at about 4:20, and then around 4:30, we will have the Potawatomi Sportsbook baseball post-game show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz after the last pitch. You always make the switch to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We're going to start talking about the Green Bay Packers here in the first segment because the draft is coming up shortly, right? Round 1 is coming up tomorrow night. The Packers obviously will not be participating in that. They're going to be hanging out in their offices and watching. That'll probably be about the extent of it. And then round 2 and round 3 will be on Friday night. We'll have the Green Bay football draft show coming up on Friday night, starting at 6 o'clock with Charlie Wirtz and myself. Charlie Usen. Golly, man. Charlie Usen and myself. Brought to you by Seam Fitters Local 601. We'll take you pick-by-pick coverage all the way through rounds 2 and 3. So looking forward to that too. On SI.com today, they had a piece up there, best and worst case scenarios for each team in the NFL draft, and I was intrigued by seeing what they would say about the Green Bay Packers. Before that, however, I want to talk about what they have down here for the Chicago Bears, because we do have Chicago Charlie, after all, on the show, and I kind of wanted to see how accurate he thought this was before I tell you what they have for the Packers. So the Chicago Bears have their first pick is at pick 25. They have 7 total picks in the draft. Best case, the Bears need to find another pass rusher to go with Montez Sweat or a safety to replace Joe Kalon Brisker. Either outcome in the first round would be ideal. Worst case, Chicago ends up taking either the 4th or 5th edge rusher off its board or scrambles to take a safety with Ohio State's Caleb Downs and Toledo's Emmanuel McNeil-Warren already gone and off the board. Agree or disagree on SI's assessment of best and worst case scenario for the Chicago Bears?
I think I agree with them. I think really this is a draft where the Bears are in a similar spot to the Packers, looking at a lot of the same positions. I think there's a lot of teams in the league right now looking for a lot of the same positions. It's that interior defensive line, interior offensive line, to some degree wide receiver. I don't think this is really a draft kind of like the Packers where it's going to be very easy for the Bears to go wrong. Like you can go right a lot of different ways. There's very few that will make the fan base go, what the hell are you doing?
Right. And that's going to be the thing too. I mean, they go quarterback in the first round. they take
That
Ty
would be a little
Simpson.
weird.
They
That'd be
take
a little
Ty
strange.
Simpson. You might be upset in Chicago.
I saw earlier today that Ty Simpson's his draft profile is getting compared to Jimmy Garoppolo. If that's his ceiling, man,
Jimmy Garoppolo made a lot of money.
he did, but he's not a star. I'd be mad if somebody compared me to Jimmy Garoppolo. Usually a lot of these guys just get star comparisons no matter
Maybe
what.
they're comparing his looks. Maybe they're saying he's as good looking as Jimmy Garoppolo.
There you go.
Maybe,
all right, then maybe I'll take
is.
that then. All right.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
Either way, I want to read you what they have for the Green Bay Packers, and I want you then to tell me if you agree or disagree, and then explain to me what it would be your best case scenario for the Packers and what would be your worst case scenario for the Green Bay Packers at this point. They have the Packers, obviously, first pick at 52. Total picks are 8. Now, Goody yesterday talked about the idea, the Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst, talked about the idea that potentially adding more picks is something they always want to do. And I would say the Green Bay Packers probably would strive to get to 10 picks for each draft. I think that's where they would like to be, somewhere in that 10 range. And if you're at 10 or more, that's a happy front office. And why does that matter? Well, simple. As we've talked about numerous times, they're not that great at doing first round picks. It just hasn't been a thing in this organization for a while where they get them, more right than wrong. Now, they've done a lot better in rounds 2 and so forth, but not in round 1. So if I have 10 picks instead of 7 picks, that's, 3 more bites at the apple, I guess you'd say, to potentially hit on a player by having more chances at it. Best case scenario for the Green Bay Packers, as written by Sports Illustrated. Without their first round pick as a result of the Micah Parsons trade, the Packers would love to see offensive linemen and corners fall into the second day. Worst case scenario, if those positions are thin by the time the Packers go on the clock with 52, general manager Brian Gutekunst will be forced to consider other options, perhaps including a receiver and defensive tackle. I feel like I really don't agree with anything SI writes about the Green Bay Packers. First, we talked about Albert Breer. That was completely wrong. Not even putting cornerback as a need for the Green Bay Packers. Gutekunst shot that all up when he talked yesterday, saying that was the run room where they want to add the most to. So clearly, cornerback is a need for the Packers. So he was wrong there. And now here's another piece. Now, this piece, again, is on all of the National Football League with best and worst case scenarios and seeing what people say. Personally, I think it's cornerback and it's defensive tackle, nose tackle specifically, is probably where they're looking at in rounds 2 and 3. Would wide receiver shock me? No, it wouldn't shock me. But as far as what they want to try and get accomplished here, I think those two positions are two positions, especially the defensive tackle position, which isn't going to get a lot of draft picks taken there in the first round, but should be stockpiled for the second and third round. There may be so many sitting there in the second round, but the Packers may be like, yeah, I like 5 guys here. I mean, we can wait to the third round. I'll get one of them to follow me in the third round. And at cornerback, there's going to be some of those guys out there too, where, you're still going to have an opportunity to get 2 or 3 guys. Last night I did my usual mock draft before bed with ProFootballNetwork.com. And I was going through the same type of scenario of how long can I wait before I'm screwed at cornerback? How long can I wait before I'm screwed at nose tackle, like Goody was talking about wanting to draft? And realistically, you can take either one of those two positions in the second or third round and get pretty good quality at both positions. Now, wide receiver, like last night, I took Lance from North Dakota State, right? Who would come up and be another tall, lanky receiver like Christian Watson, come up there and play with what was his position coach, now the position coach for the Packers. I took that dude, but I think I waited to take that dude until the 4th round. I want to say he fell to me or something like that. And he fell. Now, again, every time you do these simulations, different guys fall and you just adjust as you go. And 4th round, that's just, I'm not passing on him in the 4th round after I had a corner and a nose tackle at that point. So it's going to be how the board falls. We all understand that. But those two specific position needs that the Packers have, I think they should be able to get quality at both picks on day 2.
100%. And I think that looking back at what Sports Illustrated said and looking at the offensive line, interior offensive line specifically, it looks like a lot of those guys are rising up draft boards really fast right now. Like you're seeing about 3 to 4 guard centers being taken in the first round and about another 3 to 4 taken in the second round right away at the top, which is a lot for that interior offensive line position. It's a big need in the league right now. And I think that if the Packers are aiming for that in the first couple of rounds, they're going to get more scraps just because of how far behind that they are from that. So unless they're trading up, that seems unrealistic. So yeah, it is kind of a best case scenario from that standpoint, but at the same time, it's kind of an unrealistic scenario in the first couple of days for this Packers team. Nose tackle and cornerback are going to be there. You have a deeper group there. Other positions, again, are getting taken earlier in this draft. You can see the kind of rise that some of these guys are taking or the non-fall that some guys are taking. Guys like Ruben Bain and David Bailey, edge rusher is such a big need that they don't care about the other outside factors from those two guys. You can find some gems in those other groups that I think a lot of people are just ignoring, again, because Micah Parsons is going to be there eventually and that he made everybody else look good. So it's harder to see the undervalue that they have.
He's Charlie Houston. See Sparky Fifer with you, Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, asking you, what's your best and worst case scenario for the Packers heading into the draft this weekend, right? Their first pick at 52 in round 2 coming up on Friday. Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio, streaming live on YouTube and on X. And where else?
On Facebook and on Instagram. So you got a lot of options if you want to watch us.
We're on Instagram.
We're vertical, Sparky, not just horizontal anymore.
How do I look vertical? I just be honest. How do I look? Does my head look like bigger vertical?
No.
Or does it look better horizontal?
No, we got like the banner up top, so it kind of cuts off a little space. So, you know, it gets your head like nice and center.
So it's not too bad.
Not too big.
No. I'm always worried about how that would look on vertical videos and stuff like that. Because you put out a vertical video last night, didn't you, on X last night?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
So that one is all the shorts. They all come out vertical. It's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Really
and
nice.
Again, all of those shorts and stuff are right there on the YouTube page, WI Sports Radio. And again, when you're there, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And then when you subscribe, you got your notifications on, you'll know every time we got a show going live. Like if you're a big fan of the Potawatomi Sportsbook Baseball Post-Game Show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz, it'll let you know when they're up and on the air. Sometimes they're up on the air before the game even gets over. They'll get on like bottom of the ninth.
Well,
or bottom of the eighth, top of the ninth.
If they're on Facebook, Tom and I were talking about it. The post gamers are going to be awesome on Facebook for the live streams for those.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun.
Yes, exactly right. So I believe this is the first time we've done Facebook, right?
Yep. And Instagram. I tested it a a little bit yesterday. That was
just messing around at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But now we're officially on the Instagram. And that's at
exactly.
WI Sports Radio.
Yep.
As well. So definitely want to come check us out if you are looking to check out the show. We're doing new and fun things. Coming up next, we're going to get to more of this conversation about Taylor Jenkins and the possibility of him getting hired in Milwaukee. By the way, speaking of, Giannis appears to still be here. So is he still here to talk to Taylor Jenkins?
Seems like it.
It makes sense that he would be. Step up to the plate and take a shot at winning major prizes in the $300,000 Big League Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. April through June, you can win a share of $300,000 in prizes. All monthly promo entries count towards the grand finale drawings on June 26th. Get triple the entries during Brewers home games and score one of 3 all-new Toyota vehicles. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play. Only at Potawatomi. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fifer, Charlie Uza. We're going to get into more of this Taylor Jenkins conversation. Wendy's really outdid themselves with these new biggie deals at $4, $6, and $8. The new biggie deals are bigger and biggier than ever. If you're feeling something snacky, you can get the $4 Biggie Bites. Feeling something medium? Get yourself a $6 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. If you want to go full Biggie, you can get the $8 Biggie Bundle with your choice of 2 sandwiches, a small soft drink, and a junior fry. The choice is yours. For a pretty biggie deal, it's got to be Wendy's. All right, so yesterday we talked about Taylor Jenkins as the report was out that Taylor Jenkins met with the Milwaukee Bucks. Eric Name, I believe, had it. And they had a conversation about this whole situation in Milwaukee. Now, they didn't talk numbers according to that report. They didn't talk years or whatever the case may be. It felt like it was more of a feeling out process. Now, there's another report that says that apparently they're supposed to meet here potentially this week. And Giannis appears, based on social media, is still here as well. Charlie and I had this conversation a little bit off the air yesterday about this whole idea of do I want him in the meeting or do I not want him in the meeting with Taylor Jenkins? That's not the question. The question is Taylor Jenkins the best fit for the Bucks with or without Giannis? Is he the best fit for the Bucks, regardless of if Giannis is here or not? Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. And when Charlie and I were having this conversation off the air yesterday, my point was pretty simple, which is he can be in the meeting. But if I'm Taylor Jenkins, at some point, it's going to be like, I got to talk to these guys without you, man. With all due respect, love you. But I got to talk to these guys without you. And the conversation has to be, what's the plan? Like, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to be competitive in 3 years? I understand we're going to suck initially. I get it. We're going to have the lottery pick. You're going to have Rollins and Jang potentially back as a restricted free agent. And maybe Cormac Ryan, if you believe in him, even though he's older. What is he, 27, whatever? Maybe you believe in Cormac Ryan.
First rookie with 100 shot attempts to be 50, 40, 90, though. Ever in history.
That's good. That's good. Good stat. Good pull. But from that perspective, I got to know that if I'm Taylor Jenkins. Like, you guys, we don't have a 1 in 27. We have nothing. Not a pick swap, not our own pick. We have nothing. So we go through all of 26 and 27 and we stink. We don't even get the benefit of stinking. Somebody else is going to get that pick if, Giannis isn't here. That obviously has to be a conversation that has to be had, because that is a tricky scenario. Because if I'm Taylor Jenkins and I sign this contract and you're like, oh, Giannis is staying. And Giannis is like, I'm staying. And then Giannis goes, not really feeling what y'all did. I'm asked for a trade. I'm going to get out of here. Good luck, man. Love you. I got to go play in New York now. Taylor Jenkins then at that point is going to be like, now what? Right? So if you're Taylor Jenkins, you have to have a good idea of what the plan is going forward, one way or the other. And to take it to another step in all of this, you also have to have the conversation with Taylor Jenkins at some point here, especially if I'm Giannis. Hey, man, what do you think of Ja? Think we can get Ja? You like Ja? Would Ja work with me? Would Ja work with this offense? How would Ja fit in Milwaukee? If I'm Giannis, that's what I'm talking about. Straight up. And the reason I'm talking about it is he's the one that says, you got to have 2 stars. You got to have 2 stars. Well, they don't got 2 stars. Ja's a star. He's got a lot going on that a lot of people don't want to deal with, including me. But having said that, if it's about keeping Giannis and giving them a chance to compete at a high level and do that, then that is probably the cheapest option out there that you potentially could go get from Memphis, who wants to be rid of him, it sounds like, and plug and play with Giannis and get 2 stars, throw some shooting around him as Ja drives to the lane and throws down dunks and everything else, and the opportunity to pass out, all of that. That's something that if I'm Giannis, I want to pick Taylor Jenkins' brain. If I'm John Horst, I want to pick his brain. They should have picked his brain on this last week. I wouldn't even have waited to this week. Last week, I would have been having this conversation about John Morant. That is a name that would really, really intrigue me. I think if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, if I can figure it out financially and then obviously coming up with players to go back the other way.
Well, and he's really kind of the only big option that's going to be out there. I know people have talked about in Boston, but it seems like they're going to make a run in the playoffs. And if they make a run in the playoffs, that whole team's coming back. I think you could maybe look at Phoenix and say, oh, Devin Booker, maybe go to Golden State, and the whole rumor with Steve Kerr potentially being done after the season. Is
Which
Steph
we
Curry
all
available?
figured.
Like, those guys are just so unlikely because they spent their entire careers with one team that it might be hard for those franchises to move on from them and those guys to move on from those franchises too. It's Ja Morant. Outside of that, there's nobody else that's going to be available. New Orleans played better towards the end of the season. Zion played like majority of the season for the first time in his entire career. They're not going to want to change anything down there. I think that the big question then becomes what you added at the end there. How do you make this work? Because there's going to be a lot of teams bidding for a Ja Morant if he's the main person out there.
Maybe
Memphis Grizzlies, whether other teams are bidding or not, are going to have a higher price for him because they know he's the only one out there. So they'll just say, hey, we'll keep him.
Now, I'm going to say this right now because this has to be a talking point. If Memphis comes to you and says, hey, man, yeah, we'll take back goofy Kyle Kuzma and we'll take back, Miles Turner or whatever. But we want Ryan Rollins as part of this package.
Sure.
Bucks fans, just telling you, y'all want Giannis. You all want to keep with Giannis and you don't want him to go anywhere, as do I. Then you're going to have to sacrifice the future to play for the present yet again. Like, that is what we're talking about here. If he stays, screw the future. You're playing for now again, which means Ryan Rollins no longer is needed. Jang is no longer needed. Now it's about getting vets to come in here and play. You brought up Steph Curry and Steve Kerr and all of that. I think I could see a world where Steve Kerr stays and LeBron James ends up in Golden State to play with Steph Curry, and then everybody walks off into the sunset together after next year.
That would be pretty crazy.
I absolutely could see that.
That would be pretty crazy. I could see it happening.
Kerr would love to coach LeBron for a season.
I know he'd love to.
Oh, and Curry to play with LeBron?
I don't know.
Hell yes.
I just find that unlikely.
Maybe.
I don't see that.
Maybe,
as
but
an
I'm
option.
just saying, like,
I think it's a lot more. I think it's a lot more likely that Golden State blows it up after this season.
Mm-hmm.
They've been slowly deteriorating every single year. They keep pushing it off. They're kind of doing what the Bucks tried to do, but they have had a little more success in recent years with it. But they just seem like there's no direction to go but down right now. And it's probably better for them to fast track that, especially if Steve Kerr doesn't want to be the coach anymore, than let it linger on and try to bring in a LeBron James for one more final sunset run.
Asking you, if Taylor Jenkins is the hire in Milwaukee, do you think he's the best fit for the Bucks with or without Giannis? Nikolai Law, talk to text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. We're live streaming on all platforms right now. That's right. Before, it was just X and YouTube. Now we are on Instagram Live, WI Sports Radio, as well. And you can come find us on Facebook. Facebook, you said, is the local Facebook account, right?
Yep.
So that's the Fan Milwaukee. If you're looking for the Facebook live stream, it's the Fan Milwaukee for Facebook. The other three, all WI Sports Radio, Instagram, X, and on YouTube. Got some stuff coming in here on the Milwaukee Bucks situation. 414 says, anyone but Doc. Taylor needs a separate meeting, ownership, and then Giannis. I'm okay with that. Now, I don't know if I'm Jimmy Haslam and I'm Wes Edens. Are they okay with that? Story goes back in the day that when they hired Bud, they had Giannis and Middleton go out to breakfast with Bud and then report back to Peter Fagan and John Horst what they thought of Bud. Now, remember, Mike Budenholzer is the guy that told Chris Middleton, hey, man, I know your strength is mid-range shooting. Yeah, we don't believe in that here. So we don't want you to play to your strength. We want you to shoot the three ball better and become a better three-point shooter. Eric Bledsoe, we know you're not great at shooting threes, but we need you to start practicing shooting more threes. Brook Lopez, yeah, you're good, really good around the rim, and you're one of the best post guys, but we want you to start shooting threes better, right? That was Bud. So Giannis, I'm sure, came around and was like, yeah, okay, this is great. I'm going to have spacing all around me with everybody shooting threes. I can roll in the paint. That's great. Middleton, I don't think, was as excited about not shooting mid-range jumpers anymore, but it is what it is. So that's what they did. They allowed them to have that breakfast.
Well, and Chris Middleton figured it out too.
Absolutely he did. But I'm just saying that initial breakfast when we're talking Giannis, Middleton, and Bud. So if you're the Bucks, are you willing to go down that path again and let Giannis go have lunch with Taylor Jenkins or dinner, whatever? I mean, they can do it on their own too. They don't have to ask permission from these knuckleheads to go do it. But I think that's the best play, 414. I think you are absolutely right. I think it's Giannis with Taylor Jenkins, without ownership, without John Horst. They go have a conversation. They may already have had a conversation on the phone since this whole thing started, probably.
But then I also need, if you're going to do it that way, Giannis and the organization have to talk with each other, like afterwards. It can't just be you both have your own meetings, that you both have your own thoughts on the situation, and the front office and ownership just make their decision anyways. Like whatever the standoff is between the two of them, and it feels like it's just constantly hearing from the Bucks, hearing from Giannis, hearing from the Bucks, hearing from Giannis. At the end of this, I need to hear from both of them with the same viewpoint.
Exactly. You're right about that. Charlie Hughes in there, Steve Sparky Fifer here, asking you, is Taylor Jenkins the best fit for the Bucks with or without Giannis if he ends up being the hire for the Bucks? It appears that is the direction we're going here. Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Ram, north side of Milwaukee. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, Ram?
Yeah, I got one thing to add before we get to that. Please do never associate LeBron James with Golden State. After 2016, that would never happen. The only time he's allowed to go to State is when he goes out there to play. Other than that would never happen.
Hey, man, him and Curry talked about wanting to play together, Ram. Just saying, man.
His wife ain't going for that. I'm telling you.
They talked about
it. Not going. That's not going to happen. But I'll say this. We need a high-level guard. I got Yao Morant in that group. I'll put Trae Young in that group. I'll put Devin Booker in that group. But if you say we need 2 stars, we got to go in that direction if we're going to win today. I like Taylor Jenkins. He was with the Bucks before.
I like him too.
So I just think like we need a veteran coach that's respected, that has won. And I'm sorry, Bucks fans, but Rollins got to go. I mean, Sparky, I'm gonna say this. I've been watching the playoffs. I don't know if you've been watching, but
I have.
Every time I see Drew and Dante play, I get mad. And Dante was balling the other night.
I will never
They gave up on Dante too soon. And that was John Horst's best pick.
That was John Horst's best pick, yeah.
When you say that. Yep. But then just imagine we had both of them in the back. If we had both of them in the backcourt, Sparky, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It wouldn't even be a topic.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We don't know what this roster would look like now if they both stay. We don't get Lillard, and Dante would have been here before. Remember, Dante was hurt the year they won the championship. They won the championship with him on the sidelines.
They too long. They could have waited for him to heal, but let's look at it this way. In the NBA or in basketball in general, you have to have a backcourt.
Yes.
If you don't have, you got a big, and Giannis, I think he liked both of them.
Oh, probably. I knew he liked Holiday for sure. Thanks for the call. Pretty sure he liked DiVincenzo too. I'm not saying he did like those guys. I wanted DiVincenzo when they drafted him, right? That was the guy I was calling for all week leading up to that draft was DiVincenzo. They got him, and he was streaky. He wasn't that guy. So when then they decide, okay, we're moving on, and we go, I wasn't heartbroken by it. And then he balled out with the Knicks, right? And all their little thing. And then it's like, oh, my God, I can't believe we let DiVincenzo go. Ain't nobody asking for DiVincenzo when he was playing with the Kings after the Bucks moved on from him.
No, they were good.
Nobody's saying boo about him. He gets going in New York. Fine. It is what it is. I agree, Ram. That was definitely his best draft pick, for sure. The Drew Holiday stuff, we've got to move on, man. Like, I like watching Drew. I was watching that game last night as Wemby was bouncing his head off of the basketball court a couple of times. That was absolutely brutal. Did you hear earlier today on 9 to Noon with John Kuhn? Rami apparently let the cat out of the bag. I'm not quite sure John wanted him to because it was a text message conversation. But John Kuhn apparently was like, and we still don't know how to fall. And we still haven't learned how to fall correctly, right? And John's like, man, come on. And Rami's like, hey, you didn't say I couldn't say this on the air. Because, anytime you deal with stars like John Kuhn, normally it's all right. Here, I'm gonna tell you something, but I want this on the radio. Yeah, all right, man, sounds good. What do you got? Right, and then they tell you, and you don't bring it on the radio. It's a trust thing amongst the show. That's how that works. But if you're just randomly going back and forth talking about a game, you're watching it, and he doesn't say anything. Like, okay, well, I'm bringing this up. That's pretty funny. And they brought it up and they had the conversation. But there is something to that, learning to fall the correct way and all of that. And Wembanyama definitely did not do that. Having said that, the story about that game last night was not Drew Holiday. The story from that game last night was Scoot. Mm-hmm. That dude was balling last night. Mm-hmm. And that guy's name has been attached. Where anytime you talk about a Giannis trade rumor with Portland, that dude is in every trade rumor when it comes to that. So I'm seeing Bucks fans last night and I going, hey, wow, by Portland, if you really are interested, maybe we could take Scoot off your hands after all at the end of the day. He played really well. He really did. And he has not lived up to the hype so far since he's been drafted.
No, but I think part of that is being the number 2 pick to Victor Wembanyama. I think that kind of covers you and doesn't allow you to reach that level unless you're reaching Wemby's level too to some degree, unless you're Dwayne Wade to LeBron being a Hall of Famer. And I think that Scoot Henderson very quietly had a really good season this year and was a part of the reason that the Portland Trailblazers, along with Denny Avdia, got to the playoffs and got to this point. So you can't downplay that. And we talked about it when Drew Holiday got there, that it was going to be a really good mentor for a guy like Scoot Henderson. And it looks like he has just the energy that he plays with. You can see that a lot of these shots that he's taking, he just has so much confidence exuding from him, and he'll get there. So yeah, maybe he hasn't lived up to the hype, but when Victor Wembanyama is the hype that you're trying to live up to, that's really hard.
Good luck, no doubt. Things that Sparky missed, brought to Milwaukee Admirals, normally is at 440. We're going to talk with John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals. He's in Winnipeg as the Admirals get ready to take on 3-game series in Winnipeg against the Manitoba Moose. That starts tonight, right? Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah, I'll double check.
So John Greenberg will join us coming up next. Then we'll talk about the crew coming up at 3. Jeff Rieger from the Ticket in Detroit, talking some Lions draft needs in the offseason and so forth at 3:20. Charlie Sounds today at 3:40. That gives you up to date what's coming up soon. Step up to the plate and take a shot at winning major prizes in the $300,000 Big League Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. April through June, you can win a share of $300,000 in prizes. All monthly promo entries count towards the grand finale drawings on June 26th. Get triple the entries during Brewers home games and score one of 3 all-new Toyota vehicles. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play. Only at Potawatomi. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Coming up Friday, your chance to nominate some new bumper music for the show for May and June. We'll do 2 months. So new music nominations coming up on Friday for the show between 2 and 5 right here on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Fifer. Charlie using over there. Thanks for listening to us on the game, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior on WNFL in Green Bay and Appleton, 99.7 FM, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan in Milwaukee, and of course, 93.9 The Game in Wausau. Appreciate y'all for listening. Part of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Don't forget 4:30, the leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz. Looking forward to that coming up 4:30 to 5:30. Then after the last pitch, you make the switch to the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz. Also, if you missed the first 40 or so minutes of the show of us talking about this, we are now live on Instagram, broadcasting live on Instagram. We are live on X. We are live on YouTube at WI Sports Radio, and we are live on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page as well. All 4 platforms streaming this show live as we speak.
Somebody just gave us a like on Facebook.
There you go.
It shows up on there. That's
there
nice.
We go. That's good.
Can I shout him
yeah.
out?
YouTube. Remember,
Thanks,
like it,
James.
like it, subscribe on YouTube as well. For the first time, our first guest as we broadcast live on Instagram. First guest as we broadcast live on Facebook. It is the president of the Milwaukee Admirals joining us for the first time, broadcasting live on Instagram and Facebook. On the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. John, how are we doing today?
Well, it might be your first international guest, too.
Oh, yes, you're in Canada. Yes. Yes.
So, getting ready for playoff game number 1 here in Winnipeg, and thrilled to be with you, and congratulations on that network. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time, and I'm excited to be broadcasting live on 4 platforms as much as I am anything else today. I never thought we'd see the day we'd be on Facebook Live and Instagram Live and YouTube and on X all at the same time. It's pretty cool stuff. I know you and I have talked about this. I absolutely hate this playoff format. Like, I cannot stand this playoff format. Like, I did like the 1-game playoff when Major League Baseball was doing that nonsense for the wild card. But this whole idea of a team controlling all the games of the 3-game series, and you guys are stuck in Canada now. Hopefully it'll take only 2 games to get out of there. But are you a fan of this? Do the players like it? Like, what's the response from everybody that's associated with having to do with this, with the AHL playoffs?
Well, I guess first of all, they'd rather be in the playoffs than not in the playoffs.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
But, this is kind of the penalty for finishing 5th. I mean, it's, you didn't earn a chance to be in the top 4 in your division. So, you're the last ones in, and we need to do some work to get ourselves past this round. And, if we were playing Chicago or Rockford, this would be a geographically different playoff format. We would have a home game in there. But, the goofy thing is on Friday night when we're in game 2, we're technically the home team in terms of like getting the last change. Our coach could put their line up out there this second. So we're just physically not in Milwaukee, but technically we're the home team in the second game.
Admirals 5-3 against the Moose during the year, 2-2 there. And I also feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, my memory's not very good. I feel like they play Manitoba in the playoffs damn near every other year, it feels like, John.
Yeah, it's true. I was just talking to my counterpart with the Moose, and he said, "When's the last time we were here?" I said, "When's the last time we played you in the playoffs?" That's the last time I was here. I said 2023. So, yes, we do play each other a lot. We do have some very memorable games in our playoff history against each other. And, this is also for our guys. This is the 3rd time they've been here in 6 weeks. So we played all 4 of our regular season games here late in the season, and now back here for this playoff round. And if we can continue the way we finished the last time we were here, where we won 7-0 in the last game, that'll be a good thing. But there's a lot of optimism with our group, and having a lot of our guys back from Nashville, and now adding a young man named Brady Martin, who was Nashville's #1 pick, to our lineup tonight for the first time. This is it's a different group than has been playing with us for quite a bit.
What's the adjustment level like for that? I mean, obviously the talent is through the roof, but as far as adding a new player on the ice that doesn't have the chemistry, hasn't played with the guy next to him, there has to be an adjustment, and the positives versus the negatives would have to be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I think he's going to be on a line tonight with some experienced guys. So, those guys who have played in the NHL a little bit, and Brady played in the NHL the first 3 games of the season this year before they sent him back to junior so that, you can make sure he got the proper seasoning. He would have played most of the year at 18 years old. So now he's 19, now he's here, but he has played a little bit of NHL hockey. So they really believe in this kid. And I think he's got a very bright future. And we're glad we get a chance to have him at least for this week.
So the fact that he wasn't with you all year, but gets here at the end, does that mean there's a good chance this kid starts with Milwaukee next year?
Yeah. If he's not playing in Nashville, there's a chance of that happening for sure. There are some age requirements in our league, and he might actually still be a little young to get started with us next year. Might have to be in Nashville or back in junior again, but we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Juniors, yeah, with 24 points in 24 games, I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. He also had 10 points in 10 playoff games with his junior team. So, anytime you can get a point a game guy at any level of hockey, frankly, that's a good player. And I'm excited to see him play tonight.
All right. So now we wait. Now, if you win this series, then you start getting home games again, correct?
Yeah. We'll be home next Thursday night, the 30th, for game 1 against Grand Rapids. We have some building issues with both teams in that round, so we actually are going to get the first 2 games of that series. And the back 3 would then go to GR. So instead of going back and forth, we would actually get to start at home. But we got to take care of business first. But yes, there are home games on the horizon if we can get past this.
I love it. There he is, John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals. Again, you can watch this on Flow Hockey as well tonight, correct?
You can, or come on down to Goolsby's or the Stennies out in Lake Country. They're going to have viewing parties there. But Flow Hockey is a great resource to be able to watch any Admirals game or any other playoff game this playoff season.
I did a remote at that Stennies. That place is awesome. You remember me? I was doing that show. I was doing that show. I was like, man, if I lived out here, this would be my home bar. Like, that bar is amazing. I love that bar. John Greenberg, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care. There he is, president of the Milwaukee Admirals, John Greenberg, on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. Coming up in the 3:00 hour, we got a lot of Brewer stuff that we have to get into. Got to talk about that game last night, and there's a lot of stuff to get into. A lot of people mad at Joey Ortiz. Oh, they ought to cut Joey Ortiz. Cut him before he gets back to the dugout. One of my buddies texted me last night. Yeah, cut him before he gets back to the dugout. How the hell do you strike out against a position player throwing a knuckleball or whatever the hell he was throwing? Right?
Because he's Joey Ortiz.
Just everybody's mad at this dude, man. Like, everybody's mad. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about that. But I also want to talk about this lineup and whether or not we're all getting worried for nothing at the end of the day in April, right? I really just want to dive into this coming up in the next segment when we talk about the Brewers. Then we'll talk with Jeff Rieger from 97.1 The Ticket, our sister station in Detroit, does nights there, hosts a nighttime show there. And I want to hear where Lions fans are. I don't feel like I've really seen a bunch of Lions chatter on social media like I did the previous offseason. I don't feel like they're very vocal this year on social media.
No, it doesn't seem
been
like
very quiet in Detroit.
They got Isaiah Pacheco, and that was about it. And they didn't even really say anything about that.
No.
Interesting.
Been very, very quiet. Very, very quiet. Very, very unusual. Charlie Sounds today comes up at 3:40. Then our Green and Gold update. Dustin Klug, Vikings content ambassador, comes up at 4:00. Ross Uglem of Packer Report and their great draft guide, Green Bay Football Draft Guide, which I went and got for me and Charlie for our draft show coming up on Friday night. So we'll be using that for ourselves coming up on Friday night. But that is must listen to as well. I'm a little bit nervous as far as Ross Uglem because he and I like to go a long time, and we're going to be constricted by that guy, Tommy Wirtz, hovering in here, wanting to get on the air right away at 4:30
right behind
to do the leadoff show. Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be fine. Like Tommy will have boundaries.
I just got to make sure I get my questions lined up in order so I don't miss anything.
You're nailing. Maybe we can figure it out, Sparky. We'll figure it out. Don't
Getting
worry. You'll be okay.
Getting a little stressed by the whole deal. So yeah, playoffs. Somebody asked me earlier if I've been watching the playoffs. Yeah, I've been watching the playoffs in and out. Have I been watching every minute of every playoff game? No, I have not been doing that. But I am interested in the Knicks series a little bit. I was interested in the Spurs series because Wembanyama is fun to watch. Not as much interested anymore now that Wembanyama is out.
You don't want to cheer for the Trailblazers at all?
No.
Why not?
I'm not cheering for anybody. They're not the Bucks. Why would I cheer for anybody?
So dumb.
I'm not cheering for any of these
They're
dudes.
not in the playoffs. You can cheer for whoever you want now. You're free, Sparky.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm not doing that. No, I know people do. They pick teams they want to root for. If I had money on it, if I had money on it, that'd be different. But I've got no money on any of these guys. No, absolutely not. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here, Charlie over there. Let's talk about the Crew coming up next.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again. It is the 3 o'clock hour here on a Wednesday. Halfway through that work week. Closer to the weekend we get. I actually have nothing. I don't think this weekend.
Nothing at all?
I don't. Well, let me check.
Well, Friday.
Let me check.
Friday, you have a very busy Friday.
Friday,
so if you count
busy.
that as the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Saturday and Sunday for me is what counts as the weekend. But I don't think I'm looking here. Let's see here. No, look at that. Saturday, Sunday, nothing planned both days.
There you go.
Nothing.
Oh,
couldn't tell you the last time where our family had nothing for 2 straight days.
There you go. Go do something fun.
Yeah.
Probably be nice out again.
We're probably going to work out in the yard and deal with the flowers and all of that stuff. That'd be
go do something fun too instead of just chores.
Oh, that'll be fun. Oh, yeah.
For you.
The kids will be playing outside. And
I guess, but like, I don't know. Go somewhere.
Go somewhere.
Go somewhere. Do something.
Maybe. I don't know. You never know what ends up. Who knows what we'll end up doing. Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, it's 3 o'clock. Let's get to this.
It's time to talk about the Crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, time to talk about the Crew and all you people that are haters of Joey Ortiz. Before we get to that, I want to play some positive things from that Brewers game last night, if you don't mind. Again, leadoff show coming up 4:30 to 5:30 with a big old hunk of love. Tommy Words. This dude here, man. This dude here is unbelievable.
Terang busted that flare, base hit. Another run scores. Here comes Frelick to the plate. The throw is cut off. Terang caught in a rundown. Hamilton, nobody's at second base. Now they're going to throw home. Hamilton slides, and he's out at home.
Yeah, beautiful. Highlight courtesy of Brewers TV. I would like to make a request. Can we stop talking about Terang's long-term future with this team? Can we just, because now I'm just getting depressed every time he does, like, yeah, well, he's not going to be here long-term. Like, I don't want to think about this. He's got 3 years left after this year. Like, I don't want to.
That's long-term.
I don't want to have this conversation anymore. Contreras has 1 year left. They probably move him in the offseason because they're probably not going to sign him. Then Jefferson Carroll comes up, and then we'll see if he can handle a pitching staff. And then if the pitching staff goes sideways, then everybody's going to be upset and say, well, see, it wasn't Chris Hook after all. It was William Contreras. They should have signed him. And then it's going to be a whole big thing. I don't want to worry about Bryce Terang right now. Just enjoy him while we have him. And that was nice. That was there in the second inning. Then a guy that has done nothing offensively, like Joey Ortiz, but like Joey Ortiz, makes plays on defense.
Hacking away, deep left center. Back is Perkins. And he caught it. He took a home run away from Jahmai Jones. Didn't even need to leap.
I read today that Perkins was like, yeah, that was like 2 out of 3 of 10 on a difficulty level of making that catch. Like, I ran back there, waited, hopped up, grabbed it, and then called it. It wasn't all that difficult. Let's not overplay this and act like it was some great home run robbery.
That's how he made it look. I mean, he made it look pretty simple. And there was like conversation online about whether or not it was like even a catch or anything, or if it was going to end up being a catch. And I was like, dude, he had that track the whole way. I had no doubt in my mind with Blake Perkins out there.
Yeah, he definitely had it. I totally agree. And yeah, Garrett Mitchell is really good at doing that stuff. True, we don't remember because Garrett Mitchell's been hurt all the time. But what about Garrett Mitchell? Still healthy, still playing. Hopefully we don't jinx him by talking about it. But this dude, he's raking right now, Charlie. I mean, he ain't 235 and is healthy. And we're like, oh, he's still healthy. We're happy. No, he's contributing and being a big player on this team.
And staying healthy. That's still a really big positive to look at with him. It was going to be exciting, like you said, whether he was hitting 235 or doing what he's doing right now, that he is still on the field in some capacity. And now that makes you really excited about moving forward here when you get a Jackson Chourio back into this lineup. So then you have those two out there, and then you can rotate around with whoever, with Sal Frelick, if he's going to keep being slow here. You have other options now, and that just solidifies that group a little bit more. That's got to be really exciting.
people always talk about, average. Don't care. Tell me the on-base percentage. I like average myself. But I get down the on-base percentage because that includes walks and everything else that goes into it. Bryce Terang is hitting 307 with a 430 on-base percentage. Right?
It's insane. Yeah.
Garrett Mitchell is hitting 273 with a 437 on-base percentage, leading the team right now.
Just absolutely nuts. Garrett Mitchell has 16 walks in that whole time, and then Bryce Terang has 17 walks.
I'm telling you, like, this is legitimate stuff. Game-changing type stuff for this Brewers team if Garrett Mitchell is healthy all year and puts up the numbers that he's capable of putting up. I always reference back to Matt Arnold just saying he is going to be probably the best athlete on the field 9 out of 10 times when there's a Major League Baseball game going on. Once in a while, he might not be, but from an athletic standpoint, he probably is the best athlete out there.
I mean, I've said it before. When you look at a lot of these guys that are coming up through minor league systems that are at the MLB level now, you have so many just base 5-tool players out there in Major League Baseball right now. And Garrett Mitchell is one of those guys. Jackson Chourio, if he keeps growing, I don't think his defense fully gets him there to this point, his arm or anything like that, but he's pretty close. You have a lot of guys just across the league, and Garrett Mitchell looks like he's fully taking advantage of that right now. I mean, it'd be nice to see him get a little bit more power into that bat too.
Give it time. Give it time.
I believe it's going to happen.
Warm, we'll get going a little bit. Terang hit 10 in August last year. If Mitchell hits 10 in August this year, then that's fine. I don't care what month it comes.
He's still making the players work with the ability he has on the base paths too. So whether he's hitting it out of the park or not, he's still getting the extra base hits. He's still stealing bases. Like, he's awesome. Man.
He's really good. How about this dude here? He also stinks, but he did something last night.
Rengifo, shallow right, Veerling can't get there. It falls. Mitchell scores. And for all the Rockets, Luis Rengifo gets one to fall finally.
I think that's when he turned around and looked in the dugout. He was like, you got to be kidding me.
243 on base, 270 slugging percentage for Rengifo. But he is riding a 4-game hitting streak now going into tonight's action. So you're starting to see Rengifo get out of his funk here. And Dillard and Levering are talking about he's had some bad luck. Yes, he has. He's had some bad luck along the way this year. No question he has. But again, that is a guy that's over there at third base that you need to be average. You don't need him to be all-star level. You just need him to be average. And if he's average, even slightly below average, then all of a sudden that doesn't look as big of a hole. But right now, shortstop and third base, both are holes, like bottom of the league bad, Charlie.
It's pretty abysmal. And watching Rengifo over the past couple of games, like you heard in the broadcast there, he's hitting the ball hard. It's just about getting it to fall in play now moving forward here. And you talk about the gap between on-base percentage and batting average for Bryce Terang and Garrett Mitchell. And yes, it's not as crazy because his numbers are just way lower, but 175 batting average to a 243 on base. Like, he has a bigger gap there. If he can start hitting the ball a little bit more, maybe you can start seeing again all this great plate discipline that's throughout the lineup for the Brewers that can take hold here if they can just start making contact in fair play.
Correct. And then there's David Hamilton, who had 4 hits last night, Charlie.
Just crazy.
4 hits in a game.
That. I was like, we must be in upside down land.
Upside down line. He's now up to 240, 377 on base. That's
Same
not
deal.
bad for David Hamilton.
137 points higher than his batting average.
Yes.
Again, that's a huge deal. If these guys can start making consistent contact that results in a hit, I mean, their vision is there. They're always going to be on base, always going to be threatening.
Then there's Joey Ortiz.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Now, I said before the year, and as of right now in April, long season, that I thought Ortiz was going to show offensively what he showed previously during a point. When they first got Joey Ortiz, he played well there for a stretch, and then he got hurt, and then he went into la-la land, and we've never seen that Joey Ortiz again offensively. And I just thought, okay, here we go. Murphy was talking about Ortiz at the end of last year. That wait till you see he's going to get going offensively, you guys. Okay, maybe he's going to get going. We'll have to wait and see. Well, towards the end of this game, Jake Rogers comes in for the Detroit Tigers. He looks like he's from the 1980s. He comes in to pitch, catcher for the Detroit Tigers. And our guy Joey Ortiz is up there to bat. Now, this is the Tigers play-by-play crew on TV. So check this out.
Knuckleifus?
I think he throws a knuckler. There it is. That's the knuckler. Yeah.
I think they're laughing at Joey Ortiz.
You think? I'm pretty sure they're laughing at Joey Ortiz. The whole stadium goes crazy.
Yes.
Joey walks off so fast. It's embarrassing.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've ever hit a knuckleball in my life. I will tell you.
It's probably tough.
I will tell you that Tim Allen's son threw a great knuckleball when he was coming up through middle school, high school. I don't know if he threw it in college or not, but he had and he's left-handed. So he threw that knuckleball, man, gave kids out left and right. And it is hard to throw, but if you throw it effectively, it can be really good.
Well, and it did look kind of like a good knuckleball. It came in there faster than I expected it to. It was like rising and then had a really insane kind of like decline. It was still way over the zone. I don't really know what Joey was swinging at in the first place, but it wasn't bad. It was a serviceable pitch.
414 on the Nikolai Lautaka text line. Joey has had a season and a half of poor performance now. It's not that we are worrying about a slow start. It's that we are concerned that this is who he is. You're right. And they signed Cooper Pratt to this long-term deal. Cooper Pratt is hitting under 200 right now at AAA and has an on-base and slugging percentage of around 200 at AAA Nashville. Cooper Pratt is not coming anytime soon to the big league level hitting that way. Now, if he gets hot at some point, maybe. Cooper Pratt is hitting 182, Charlie, 297 on base percentage, has an OPS of 497.
Which means his slugging is 200.
Yes!
That's not good, man. That's really bad. He has 6 stolen bases.
You can't call him up when he stinks.
He has 6 stolen bases.
Who cares?
That's more production than Joey Ortiz.
I don't care. No, you're not calling him up. Like, he has to get hot for 3 weeks or so. And if he gets hot for 3 weeks or so, and if Ortiz still stinks, then you have that conversation. The other conversation you can have is, should it be Hamilton over Ortiz? I feel like you're giving up a bunch of defense. I know Hamilton is fast, but I don't think he has Ortiz's arm. I think you're giving up some defense there if you put Hamilton in every day over Ortiz.
I would say, yeah, probably. But at the same time, like, you just have to try something else. Joey Ortiz right now is just constantly, he goes up to the plate. Right. It's like, okay, that's an out. It's an out. Like, let's sim past this. If we were playing MLB the show and go to the next batter almost every single time, it feels like. I think when you talk about like Cooper Pratt too, yes, he's not playing well as Nashville. Man, bring Jesus Madej up to AAA right now. Like, have competition for Cooper Pratt. It doesn't really matter if you make Cooper Pratt mad that Jesus Madej could slide up through past him. You could give him that contract that you probably should have already given him, but you're forcing yourself to by moving him up. And then B, if Cooper Pratt gets mad, sorry, you're under contract for 8 years. Figure it out. Get better. You can have a chance in the future when Bryce Turang's gone to 3 years and we move Jesus over, and you can slide in at shortstop again. But you got to give some motivation to him. And Jesus Madej is just insane, man. You have to see what he can do at AAA. And then if he plays really well there, you have to see what he does at the Major League level.
Maybe I'll be wrong on this. I don't think Madej is moving until at least June. I think they're going to leave him there for a couple of months. And then once June comes, then they'll move him up to AAA. And then if he's balling June, July, August, maybe you get a September call up. But again, those expanded rosters aren't as big as they used to be. So I don't even think he even gets called up probably at that point. Cooper Pratt, like we talked about, just has to get hot. Now, once Madej moves, that means now Pena can move as well from high A ball to double A ball. And I think if we're being hopeful of a season in 2027, that you would love to see Madej ball out at Nashville for 4 months or 3 months, whatever it ends up being. And then Madej gets the invite to spring training with a chance to win a job, with Cooper Pratt with a chance to win the job. And then Pena, ends in Double A, starts in Double A, and then ends up in Triple A with an opportunity then to get back up to the Major League level in 28. Now, at that point, there's 2 years left on Turang's deal. At that point, 28 and 29. Then if they feel like, okay, Pena's going to be our second baseman, then maybe they start talking about essentially doing something with Bryce Turang, depending on the scenario of where he is, or they move Pena to a different position. I saw Pena on social media. They did a Luis Pena bobblehead for him.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, first of all, he's not that tall. But damn, man, he looks like mini Popeye, man. He's got these tiny little, he's like, woof. You could see his like arms just bulging out. I was like, hot dang, man. The dude is lifting.
How all these guys are. Like Jesus Madej looks like that too. They posted a couple pictures
He's
of them
thick.
like talking, standing next to each other.
Madej's thick.
He's jacked
Yes.
too. Like these guys are just built like that now, while also they're muscle hamsters. That's what I always called them, Doug Martin type guys, man.
Yep, I totally understand that. I got to get to Jeff Rieger from 97 won the ticket. Before we do that real quick, I just want to go over something real quick for you Brewers fans that are freaking out about the offense. Just sit back and think about something, okay? Eventually, when they get healthy, your outfield, think about this now, it's going to be Garrett Mitchell, it's going to be Jackson Churio, and Sal Frelick. Now, we're all crossing our fingers that Frelick figures this out, but it's those three, right? So assuming Frelick figures this out before, say, June, when all of these guys are finally back, that outfield is good. Offensively, that outfield is good defensively. First base, you get Andrew Vaughn back. With all due respect to 200 Jake Bowers, you get Andrew Vaughn back at first base. You have Bryce Terang at second base. So now you've added Pop and Churio. You've added Pop and Andrew Vaughn. Left side of the infield still sucks. I understand. And then you have Contreras at catcher at that point. But then you add Yelich back in as the designated hitter. That's a big deal. If Frelick is still struggling and you got a big series, Gary Sanchez can go into DH. Yelich can play left. Churio and Mitchell, the other two outfielders. And let's go with a bunch of power if Frelick can't figure this out. This looks like we're in a good situation. And then when you get to the deadline, if you want Alec Boehm or somebody like that who's on the last year of a deal to come in and play third base for you down the stretch to help that lineup, you have more than enough prospects to go get a third baseman at the deadline to fill out this lineup.
I think you have a lot of options that are coming up here that are just, it makes it so easy to move forward. You just need guys to get healthy.
Just get so excited. I just cannot wait for all these dudes to get up here. So Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I want to take a quick second because a guy on the 262 is not happy with the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network for giving no love to the Milwaukee Wave. So here you go. I got you right here, right now. MASL Finals, indoor soccer. For those of you around the state that don't know what the Milwaukee Wave is, they're like the winningest team ever, I think, in MASL history. Keith Tozer won 1 billion championships with them. They're in the MASL Finals. Game 1 is tonight. 6:30. That game starts tonight at Milwaukee Panther Arena. It's the Wave against the San Diego Sockers. Yeah, tonight, 6:30. So if you want to go watch some indoor soccer, it's a lot of fun. We go there for Cub Scouts every year. Always have a lot of fun. So if you want to hop aboard that and go check out some fun soccer tonight, go ahead and do that. Jeff Rieger from The Ticket up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. RC Sparky Fifer, Charlie Usen, and you on a Wednesday. I don't know about y'all, but week is flying along for your boy right here. Don't forget, tomorrow morning is at Wisconsin Sports. Wayne Larrivee, Packers play-by-play voice, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. with Trevor and Josh inside Wisconsin Sports. Everyone want to check out Wayne Larrivee tomorrow morning at 8. They're on from 6 till 9. And then 9 to noon with John Kuhn, Rami Makloff, Brandon Snide producing the show. He's always entertaining. And then noon to 2, it is the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. And then it's this show, 2 to 5 Wisconsin Sports Daily. Tomorrow, a really abbreviated show. Tomorrow from 11 to 12, our guy Tommy Wirtz will be doing the leadoff show live from the Explorium Brew Pub in the 3rd Ward. Tomorrow from 11 to noon, have some free T-shirts to give away until they run out. Go have some lunch. It's supposed to be a beautiful day. Right where they have them set up to do the broadcast, there's like a huge garage door that opens up, and there's a long bar right on the outside of this. It's going to be gorgeous. So he'll be there doing the show tomorrow from 11 to 12. And then once the game is done, after the last pitch, of course, you make the switch to the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz. And so we'll be on at 2 like normal, but I have no idea how long we'll be on. We could be done by 2:30 if this game is crack-a-lacking tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. And I believe, it's not Scooble tomorrow, is it?
Let me double check, but I don't.
It's Skeens for the Brewers on Friday. So I really hope it's not Scooble tomorrow. If they've got Scooble tomorrow and Skeens Friday, that's not great for this lineup.
It's Scooble
that's
tomorrow.
What I thought. That's what I thought. Scooble tomorrow and Skeens on Friday. Man, they may not score a run in the next 2 games. They better win today. That's all I'm saying. You better win tonight. Joining us now on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Jeff Rieger, 911 Rieger from 97 The Ticket. On Twitter at Rieger1984 does nights on the ticket. How are we doing, Mr. Rieger?
Sparky, how are we? What's going on? Are you guys going to embarrass the Tigers again? That was a tad embarrassing yesterday. My goodness. They were not ready for Brewer baseball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this team isn't even fully healthy. I mean, there's no Yelich, there's no Vaughn, there's no Churio. I mean, this isn't even really a full lineup. And the left side of this infield stinks. I mean, the odds of David Hamilton getting 4 hits in a game the rest of the year is probably the same odds Charlie has of winning a lottery at this point. But I mean, I was happy it happened. And I rather would have had it against the Cubs or the Cardinals. All due respect to your Tigers, I really don't care about the Tigers. Rieger, I got a question for you. A personal question. How does one roll a golf cart at a charity event?
That's years ago. The statute of limitation on that is
I just found out about it, and I don't remember you ever telling me that you rolled a golf cart at a charity event. I'd like to know.
Telling people.
I'd like to know how one rolls a golf cart at a charity event.
I'm putting this all together. We now have we now have colleagues that know each other and are
that's
kind
correct.
Of the same. So I'm sure somebody spilled the beans on me. Now, listen, it's not a charity event. It is a golf outing that our station does. You guys should join us at a country club with the person that you were talking to, I'm sure belongs to said country club. It was the 17th hole. The cart path is downhill. We might have had a couple of pops. It was wet outside. Totally not my fault. I was going down the hill. I pumped the brakes just to be safe. The cart flipped. My eyes flashed in front of me. I was okay. And the people behind me, my so-called work friends, all they cared about was if they put it on social media. So, of course, they did. And then the private course was very upset that this happened, and they wanted me to pay for the damage to the golf carts, which was like $500, but I refused.
It's more than that. But, yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, that was irresponsible of you at the end of the day. You should have paid for the golf cart. I mean, really, we're thinking about it, Rieger.
No. Well, first of all, you don't sign a waiver. Number one.
Maybe you do some endorsement spots for them and tell everybody about the golf course and all of that. Maybe that's the workaround. I don't know.
Who's at fault? The person that flips the golf cart,
yes,
innocently, by the way, or there's another option here, or the course that is allowing you to play on the course. I mean, Safety is a concern at a golf course, Sparky. They didn't have to let us out. It's their call.
Rieger, you said you had a couple of, quote, pops along the way. This was your fault.
Well, you're allowed to have pops. I wasn't driving like on the roads.
Okay, fine. But I'm just saying, if I'm the golf course, see, this is why you need to come back here and work, because I miss my Rieger stories. I do. The fact that you kept this from me all these years, I really am disappointed. This is a great story.
What a ringing endorsement from my good friend Sparky Fifer. You're my clown. Please come back to work. You make me laugh. You're my clown. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I really ever wanted in life.
That's why he brought Rami back. Yeah,
hey, I got Rami back, right? I mean, same type of deal, Rieger. I mean, same thing. We're going to eventually get them all back. All right, Rieger. So let's talk about the Lions, because that's the main reason I got you on.
Trust Lions, I see.
Yeah, not just the golf cart story, even though we could probably do 5 more minutes on it. I want to get your thoughts on where Lions fans are, because Charlie and I were talking, he's a Bears fan, Chicago Charlie, and we don't really see all these, arrogant, cocky Lions fans on social media this offseason as much as we've seen them the last couple of off seasons. So what's the mood like in Detroit getting ready for this draft?
Well, it's kind of weird to tell you the truth. Like, I think everybody thinks they're going to take tackle, right? Because obviously the Lions' offensive line needs work. It needs depth. And I'd say the first 7 to 8 tackles are really good in this draft. And 1 should fall, maybe 2 should fall to 17. But I think you nailed it. Nobody likes what Brad Holmes did in the offseason. He essentially went clearance bin shopping. If you look at who they picked up, it's nobody with any pedigree or any track record. They have to fill so many holes defensively. They have to fill so many holes on the offensive line. And I think people were expecting more of a splash. It did not happen. That's after, of course, missing the playoffs and watching Ben Johnson go to being 1 drive away from the NFC title game. So I think people still like Brad Holmes, but all the fun, all the playing on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, all the arrogance, it has kind of gone away. And I think Lions fans are very concerned about it being those 3 nasty, dirty letters that we're not allowed to say on the radio, which is SOL. They peaked. They had the NFC title game that they blew the 17-point lead in the second half. They went 15-2 the next year. They lost to the Commanders. The year after that, last year, they missed the postseason. The NFC North has gotten better. I don't know that the Lions have. So I think fans are a little afraid. I really do think that.
What about your quarterback? Like, are we still confident in the quarterback without Ben Johnson after last year?
It's a great question. I'd say it's split. The majority of Lions fans, I won't say split. I'd say 65% of Lions fans still like Jared Goff, still believes Jared Goff can do stuff when he's protected. And that's the key, right? You got to protect the guy. Yeah. He has so many skill weapons around him, whether it be Amon-Ra, and Laporta's going to come back, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, David Montgomery's no longer with them. But the bottom line is, I do think Lions fans still believe in this man. They just thought last year was an example of 0 pass protection, and Jared Goff wasn't very good. Now, there's other Lions fans, and I've been falling into this category lately, that don't like Jared Goff as much. Maybe he is that bridge quarterback that we thought he was when the Lions traded him for Matt Stafford a couple years back. Of course, he got paid. But if you look at Jared Goff, there's a couple of interesting things. People hate the fact he can't run. He is so slow. He's not mobile at all. And he just gives himself up way too much in the pocket when pressure, the first sign of pressure. The second thing is Jared Goff has played in some pretty big games as a Lions quarterback. One was that Commanders game. He was atrocious. That was to get to the NFC title game. Go back to last year, the game in Philly, he was awful. And then the last game of the season going against Max Brosmer, I don't even know who that is, but the Vikings beat the Lions on Christmas. Goff was horrendous. So I do think it's probably 60-40, maybe 65-35. Most Lions fans are still with him, but another not ideal season. And I do believe a lot of people might turn on the quarterback.
I'm trying to figure this out. Why would you want the OC from the Cardinals for?
It's a great question. Everybody wanted Mike McDaniel.
Yes.
Everybody wanted Mike McDaniel.
In Milwaukee, I was saying, and on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, I was saying, anybody but McDaniels to Detroit, please. Anybody but McDaniels to Detroit. And you heard this kid, I was like, that's cool. You can have him. Go ahead.
Well, the crazy thing is, it's weird that Harbaugh got him, right? I mean, those two guys together, are they going to work? Maybe. They're going to be super interesting and very quotable.
Super weird.
But 100%. So it's a weird dynamic because McDaniels came to town. And it was on a Thursday, I believe, and the whole city was abuzz. Like, oh, yes. Because a lot of people thought he was going to get a head coaching gig, remember?
Yeah.
When he got fired from Miami, and he's like, no, I want to take the year off. I want to be the OC again. And it was the dream scenario, I think. Even you said you didn't want it to happen. And then he comes in for the visit. I don't know what happened. And then he leaves. And then, of course, the Lions go to Drew Petzing, who maybe works out. He likes to utilize the tight end. Apparently, he's very good at that zone run scheme, and the Lions will use that. But I agree with you, and we'll see if Drew Petzing works out. And furthermore, if he doesn't work out, think about this, Sparky. Think about this. Dan Campbell is beloved in this town, as he should be. He's had great success. But let's say Drew Petzing doesn't work out. Then you're looking at Anthony Lynn, his first OC, had to fire him. Ben Johnson, he leaves for Chicago. John Morton had to fire him during the middle of the season, who was replacement for Ben Johnson. So if Drew Petzing doesn't work out, can you really allow your coach to hire his fifth offensive coordinator? So it's a very interesting hire. They're sold. We'll see if it works out.
Oh, man, things are going to get interesting in Detroit. Now, I look at a lot of mock drafts. With the draft coming up tomorrow, Packers got no first, right? So we got our Green Bay football post-game show brought to you by Steam Fitters, Local 601, coming up Friday night, starting at 6 o'clock with Charlie Usen and myself, talking about rounds 2 and 3 for the Pack. You all got a first-round pick. Every mock I do seemingly has you all taking an offensive tackle. Is that the obvious choice here?
All right, so yes, I think so. But Brad Holmes is a wild card, and if he falls in love with a player earlier in the draft, he's got no issue trading up. He's already said best player available.
They all say that.
Oh, I know, but he really seems to mean it. But Monroe Freeling seems to be the guy, right? He's huge. He was a great PFF score, ranked top 10 among all tackles last year. And Brad Holmes loves the RAS. He's got a 9.99 RAS score. It's the best of any tackle since 1987. If he's not around and you want to go non-tackle, I got two guys for you. Auburn edge Keldrick Folk. I think Lions fans would be happy to have him, but the Lions probably won't take him because they don't care about the edge position. They think having Hutch is good enough. And then cornerback Jermon McCoy, who, of course, was injured all last year. The Lions need corners. And this kid is a stud, and Brad Holmes does have kind of an affinity for injured players. So those are kind of a couple guys that maybe aren't tackles. Safety Dylan Thieneman, too, from Oregon is another guy maybe to look out for. But if I had to bet, I would definitely say they take a tackle. And there's a bunch out there.
I just thought of something. I mean, next year's draft class, just in general, is supposed to be way better than 26. But the other thing is, if this doesn't work out in Detroit with this offense, and they do end up moving on from Dan Campbell, they very well could take a quarterback in the first round next year.
They could. Absolutely. Like, if Dan Campbell, see, this is the big question in Detroit, and nobody knows the answer. It's a weird dynamic. Dan Campbell was hired before Brad Holmes. Remember that. So Sheila Ford obviously is the boss of them both. I don't know that Brad has the power to fire Dan. I really don't. So let's say they miss the playoffs again. Now, they have an easier schedule, but the division is tougher. But let's say they miss the playoffs. That's 2 years in a row. Do heads have to roll then? Will you fire one of the two men at that point? Or do you wait another year and they got to miss 3 in a row? Let's not make any mistake. The Lions are making money. They got a 20,000-person season ticket wait list.
There you go.
Every game sells out. So do you really need to even fire anybody? Because the fans are going to go regardless because they're still basking in the renaissance of the Detroit Lions despite missing the postseason. So I think people do wonder if you miss this year, what's going to happen next year and still be around.
I'm looking at Jared Goff's contract. They got it out after 27 where they can get out and save themselves like $31 million if they say see you after next season. So after the 2027 season. So again, they could draft a quarterback in the first round, let him sit behind Goff for a year, then get out for the Goff deal and let that quarterback start in 28 and kind of start over in Detroit, potentially with a new head coach as well. There he is, Jeff Rieger, 97 won the ticket. Follow him on X at Rieger1984. Potentially, just want to warn everybody, don't get in a golf cart with him. Rieger, thank you so much.
That's unfair. That's unfair. I'm going to now go sniffing for stories about you. All right? Yeah, I guarantee you're not clean. I used to hang out with you. I know what kind of guy you are.
Rieger, that was a long time ago. Nobody remembers anything. Take care, Mr. Rieger. Take care, buddy. There he is, Jeff Rieger, joining us there on the guest hotline. Powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all.
He doesn't have like any updated pictures of him. You didn't even notice.
He looked like Mr. Clean on the graphic you put up.
That's because I put his face on Mr. Clean.
Is that what you did?
That's what I did.
He definitely looked like Mr. Clean. I was like, what in the world? He looks like Mr. Clean up there.
He's got no updated pictures, so I had to do it for him.
That is what it is. Coming up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Step up to the plate to take a shot at winning major prizes in the $300,000 Big League Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. April through June, you can win a share of the $300,000 in prizes. All monthly promo entries count towards the grand finale drawings on June 26th. Get triple the entries during Brewers home games and score one of 3 all-new Toyota vehicles. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play. Only at Potawatomi. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky, Fifer, Charlie Usen producing the show today. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Leadoff show comes up from 4:30 to 5:30. Don't forget, Green Bay doesn't have a first-round pick tomorrow, but they have picks in rounds 2 and 3 coming up on Friday night. You can get all the analysis of both picks coming up on Friday night starting at 6, the Green Bay Football Draft Show, brought to you by Steam Fitters Local 601, featuring that guy over there, Charlie Usen, and myself, right here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Again, that's Friday night starting at 6. Looking forward to doing that show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Okay, Charlie Usen, where are we going first?
All right, first up, we're going to head on over to the Colts and their optional practices that are popping up here, where Sauce Gardner was asked the question of, is being the Colts' first-round pick this year, technically, via the trade that they made last season, does that add more pressure to him and moving forward on this season?
Colts don't have a first-round pick this year because they used it to get you. So
yeah, I'm a first-round pick. I'm a first-round pick this year.
2 times.
Yeah, twice. I forgot, yeah.
Do you that is like a certain perspective that gets added to your responsibility here, or I don't want to say pressure, but just knowing that they don't make that move without knowing what kind of player you are, what they want out of you?
No, I mean, we're going to get money. Like, we're going to do our thing, as a team on the defense especially, but as a whole team, we're going to do our thing. It ain't no pressure. We don't really think too much about that. We think about what we do have, and, that's me. If I got to be the first-round pick the next 2 years, I'm going to work regardless, if that wasn't the case. So, it's already a lot on my plate being me, but it ain't nothing that I can't handle. And, I feel like we got the guys, to get where we want to go, and, bare minimum, that's going to the playoffs. So, I'm very confident in this team in general and the coaches and players and everything. So
this is my thing. And you may disagree with me listening, but if I trade 2 1s for you and you don't feel a sense of responsibility for everything I gave up to get you, I'm very concerned about how this is going to work. If I give up 2 runs for you and you're like, dude, I know what they gave up for me and I'm going to make this look good. They're not going to regret this. Watch this. I'll take care of it myself. I'll be our 2 first-round picks going forward. That is what I want to hear as a fan. But if it's, yeah, man, I'm just going to go out there and do my game, man. They traded for me. That's great.
I always got pressure.
I'm not going to worry about it, dude. I'm just going to go play. Oh, boy. I can't. I'm so excited, right? You want the player to have some responsibility of knowing how much they gave up for you and wanting to live up to what they gave up for you when they get here. Not that the weight of the world's on their shoulders, but just to address, hey, man, that's a lot. And I'm going to go out there and prove that was a good trade for them, regardless of what everyone thinks. That's what you want to hear. And that, for the most part, is kind of what you did here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you'd hear the same from Micah Parsons when he's probably inevitably asked this question when he has his first press conference coming back. So I think that's something that you're definitely looking for from that moment. Moving on, we're going to head on over to baseball today, where Chris Rose and Trevor Plouffe were discussing the traders whining about Shohei Ohtani that he had the other day and whether or not they agree with him.
Council was asked about teams getting a limit of 13 pitchers on their 26-man roster. It's a rule to help offense. And then there's one team that's allowed to carry basically one of both, and he gets special consideration, which is probably the most bizarre rule.
Cubs, you could have signed Shohei Ohtani. Everybody had a chance. He was a free agent. He took meetings. Maybe you say the Dodgers were his choice all along. I'll probably support you on that. But you can develop people. So it's not the Shohei rule. The 5% that I'll say is not whiny is, I think this was the right thing to do. But because Shohei had the arm surgery, wasn't able to pitch. In previous years, he would have lost his eligibility to not count against the pitching total. But in 2024, they expanded it from the previous year to the previous 2 years. So that to me became the Shohei exception.
What I would say is that the league did change a rule. When Shohei comes out of the game, he can still hit as a DH. They changed it just for him. So there is already a rule that's for a party of one. And I think that's probably what caught Council even a little bit more. Like, how many times are we just going to put in rules for him?
superstar rules, and Major League Baseball decided that Shohei Ohtani is more important than any other player in the game. So they put the rule in. I was listening to Tommy Wirtz talk about this on the leadoff show yesterday, and he's in full support of the rule changes for Ohtani and completely defends it and supports it. I will say that if I am somebody in that division, I'm hot. Like, screw you. You signed him. You knew what it was. If he can't handle it and you can't handle it, then pick a position and let him be a pitcher or let him be a hitter. But this is nonsense allowing you to do it. Again, Major League Baseball decided for the best betterment of Major League Baseball and the entertainment factor, they want him involved in the game at all times. And I don't think it has anything to do with it being LA before you're like, oh, big market crap. I don't think that's it. I think it could have been anybody.
If he picked the Brewers, I think it would have still been made because people want to see him play baseball.
He's that much bigger than the sport right now. Absolutely. Yes.
Exactly. And I think that with like Craig Counsell complaining on saying that everybody had a shot to sign him, I think that's a little unfair, like towards him. Like, no, you're right. He was going to LA the entire time. Don't like say, correct, oh, every other team had a shot. Like, it was always going to be that.
Yes. No, it absolutely was. And I get it. Like, I'm not mad at the trader for going out there and verbalizing it because it's created conversation across the country. I mean, it's not just Milwaukee talking about it. The national radio shows are talking about it. TV shows are talking about it. So he got a conversation going. I'm sure Rob Manfred's not very happy that he got the conversation going, but the conversation is now at least being had and being talked about. And again, will we ever see another Shohei Ohtani at any point? I have no idea.
Maybe.
We'll have to wait and see how that whole thing plays out. That'll do it for Charlie Sounds today. Up next, Green and Gold Update. Dustin Klug, as we talk about the Vikings next. Vikings content ambassador joins us on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Also still to come, Ross Uglem from the Packer Report at 4:20.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is that time again, 4 o'clock hour. Only got a half hour here as we have the leadoff show. Getting you ready for Brewers and Tigers tonight. Tommy Wirtz has you from 4:30 to 5:30. Then it's after the last pitch, you make the switch to the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Hey, bring your cravings. Wendy's will bring the rewards. Download the Wendy's app today and start earning rewards. Wendy's Rewards is fast, free, and full of flavor. Get 200 bonus reward points and a free 10-piece nugs just for signing up. Earn points on every order and trade them for fries, burgers, and more. Earn free eats faster than you can say fresh, never frozen. Loyalty has never tasted so good.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Fifer.
Normally we talk about the Packers, and we will talk about the Packers coming up in the next segment. Ross Uglem from the Packer Report. Get their Green Bay football draft guide now. That's what we'll be using on Friday night for our draft show. Joining us now, Dustin Klug, Vikings content ambassador. Pretty sure that's the first time I've ever had a content ambassador in the 20 years I've done this. I don't believe I've ever had one before, so he's the first. Follow him on X at Dust_Vikings, Dust_Vikings. Do tell, Dustin, how does one become a content ambassador? And he cannot hear me.
Does not seem like it. All right.
I have no audio. Oh, there we go. We got you. Oh, I heard him.
We can hear him.
But he can't hear us. All right, so we'll call him on the telephone, and we will get that all figured out for Dustin Klug. But anyway, still to come, Ross Uglem as well. I'm looking forward to talking to Dustin about a couple of different things here. Number one, this off season for the Green Bay Packers, or for the Minnesota Vikings, I should say, has been an eventful one, right? You have J.J. McCarthy, who was under duress and under some stress last year during the season, not doing all that well. The Vikings go out there and they get Kyler Murray to be that guy on a one-year deal for only $1.3 million. Then you have Justin Jefferson, who comes out, I believe it was yesterday, and starts talking about Kyler Murray and how, it's going to be fun to play with Kyler Murray. He can get out and make plays with his legs. He can get the ball out on time and so forth. And then talks about J.J. McCarthy, who apparently Justin Jefferson has been working out with during the offseason and meeting up at random locations where Jefferson and McCarthy play catch. And Jefferson even said it's not even as much running routes, it's just understanding timing between him and McCarthy. That's what they've been working on, even though Kyler Murray is in the wings, probably who's going to win this job. All right, joining us now one more time on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. He is Dustin Klug. Again, Vikings content ambassador. I had asked you when we tried to do this streaming, how does one become content ambassador, Dustin?
Just a lot of hard work, man. It's, to be frank with you guys, I was born and raised in Wisconsin. I like every other Wisconsin sports team, but Vikings were my one and true passion.
Just like me, but I'm a Bears fan.
No, come on, man. I got a trader managing the Cubs to the south of me, and now you. What is good? Now tell me you went to school at Minnesota, or tell me there's a connection that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be frank with you again here is, I always tell everybody it's maturity. And maturity kind of brought me over from being a quote-unquote Packers fan to being Vikings fan. And, I've enjoyed the journey ever since. And I actually moved to Minnesota about 3 years ago, and I've been loving it.
So maturity brought you to understand you don't like winning? Is that what happened? Like, I don't understand.
Hey, winning doesn't always make it fun. You got to have the wins and losses, right?
No, winning makes it fun. No, you're not going to convince me otherwise. No, winning is fun. I'm about to watch the Bucks potentially move on from Giannis. That is not going to be fun, right? That's not going to be fun. No, and the Brewers.
That won't be fun. No,
that won't be fun. All right, Dustin. So let's talk about the Vikings offseason. So Kyler Murray now to the Vikings, 1 year deal, $1.3 million. This is a weird, strange situation because I'm reading Justin Jefferson quotes. I think it was yesterday talking about working out with J.J. McCarthy this whole offseason, meeting up at random places and throwing the ball around with him. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray, it appears, is going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, no, man, I'm super excited about Kyler Murray. Not, no bad blood with JJ. I mean, he probably just needs more time. And, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate with him. With JJ, but I think Kyler Murray, he's going to bring spark to this quarterback room, some competition, like what Justin Jefferson said, just kind of paraphrasing here is, it'll build some competition for that quarterback room that I think is well needed, because last year, going into the season with JJ McCarthy, and then your backup was Sam Howell and Carson Wentz, and we all know how that all played out, and they didn't have a real plan at backup quarterback. And I think this year, to have three capable starting quarterbacks, I think is a good problem to have, at least in training camp. And, you can kind of sort through the weeds, through July, August training camp and preseason. But I think it's a fun problem to have Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy, see if JJ makes any strides this year in the offseason. And I think it'll be a fun training camp to watch for sure.
James Pierre comes over from the Steelers. What does he bring to Minnesota?
Yeah, I didn't really know much about James Pierre until I kind of looked him up and kind of watched some highlights and film and everything about him. And he's kind of like one of those guys that is just really underrated, under the radar, that he's not a flashy guy, but I think this past year, he kind of made a big leap in Pittsburgh. And I think he's a Flores guy. Flores is very picky with who he wants on his team, especially on that defense, where he's basically the head coach of that defense. And if you're not the right fit for that system, he's not going to want you. And we've seen that, through the past 3-ish years with Flores as our DC, that, if you're not going to work here, you can find another place to play. And, I think James Pierre will have a big season, kind of like with Isaiah Rodgers. Nobody really knew of him or made splashy plays, but last year, week 3 against the Bengals, he had, I think, the most perfect PFF rating. Now, give or take, if you look into PFF that much, but, Isaiah Rodgers was a big guy that, came on over and, made a big contribution to that team. So I think James Pierre will make a big impact this year for 2026.
Talking with Dustin Klug, Vikings content ambassador. Follow him on X at @Dust_Vikings. When we start talking about the Minnesota Vikings, the draft coming up obviously tomorrow night, Packers don't have that first round pick. Rest of the division does. What are the Vikings hoping to land here in the first round, or who are they hoping to land tomorrow in the first round?
Yeah, I feel like you can't really go wrong with, I think 2 guys are on the board. I mean, other people are going to have other guys that they're looking at, but I think the 2 guys that the Vikings should be really looking at is Oregon safety Dylan Cinnamon. I feel like he would be either a good replacement for Harrison Smith when and if he does retire, or to play alongside or be mentored by Harrison Smith too. So I feel like that would be a really good pick. Or you could go to the offensive side of the ball and pick one of his teammates, Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. I feel like he'd be a really good backup tight end to TJ Hawkinson. If they want to move on from TJ after this year, Sadiq could fill his shoes and, be tight end 1 next year for 2027. And, both guys are kind of placeholders for, or upcoming guys that are placeholders in front of them. TJ Hawkinson could be moving on after this year, and Harrison Smith, we'll see what happens with him if he's back or not. But I feel like both picks, you really can't go wrong. I wouldn't be mad at either one of them. Or, the Vikings could surprise us and go another direction too.
What about interior offensive line? Charlie and I were talking about this earlier, that there seems to be some push up the draft board from some of these interior offensive linemen. Could that be an option?
Yeah, I don't know about the first round, honestly. Maybe a second or third pick, they could look at some interior offensive linemen, because we're going to need a center. I mean, Blake Brandel, he's a good piece as a backup. I don't know about a starting option for all 18 games, but I think second or third round, you really got to look at guys, whether that's center or guard, whatever it is, because the Vikings were kind of unfortunately lucky with their injuries last year. And, we went through a million different combinations on that offensive line, and we just need some stability there. So if you can find somebody, I don't know who's really all out there for interior offensive line in this draft, but finding somebody in that second or third round, I think would be a great option.
There he is, our guy, Vikings content ambassador, Dustin Klug. Again, follow him on X at @Dust_Vikings. My producer Charlie's like, dude, he's big on TikTok. So go ahead and promote that as well as your podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was about to bring that up. So that Vikings fan, all one word on TikTok. That's kind of like my bread and butter there. And then on my podcast, that will be 612 Vikings. Trying to get that up and running this offseason and this upcoming NFL season. So should be fun. Thank you guys.
So where did you I'm going to end this interview the way we started it, you being from the beautiful state of Wisconsin and leaving from Minnesota. Where did you go to high school or college? Where did you go around here?
Yeah, so I grew up in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, right down by Madison there. So just kind of was a big Vikings fan growing up in high school and all that fun stuff. So didn't go to college, just wasn't my path in life at that moment, but just kind of found other ways, and just kind of do my own thing with all the Vikings content, and it's been fun.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm sure we'll talk throughout the season.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Take care. There is Dustin Klug, Beaver Dam's very own. Follow him on X at @Dust_Vikings. I wanted to, with all due respect to him, get that done a little bit early to make sure I had time for Ross Uglem up next. That's what I was doing there.
So you can get the extra time.
I want to make sure I have a little time with Ross.
I think
Uglem.
it's funny, like when we go to like these guys that are bigger on other social medias, the younger guys for sure, they seem to always be from Wisconsin. Theo Ash is from Wisconsin. He's from Green Bay. Like that was kind of crazy to find that out. Yeah.
Yes.
And to hear another one just from Wisconsin. We're all from Wisconsin.
But they leave.
They always leave. It's just like recruiting for football.
But at least Theo Ash is still a Packers fan.
Uh-huh.
At least he didn't jump ship.
Yeah, but he lives in Denver. He works out in Denver.
I don't care. He's still a Packers fan. He didn't jump ship that much. I mean, there's a difference there. Habish, and Rotier. Those are winners. That's who you want to roll with. You don't jump ship and go find somebody else to go represent you when you get hurt in a car accident. You roll with the best. National reputation, hometown service, been around since 1930. No, they're not the exact same lawyers from 1930, but they've got 13 locations around the beautiful state of Wisconsin, and each and every one of those locations are here to serve you, are here to make sure you get the best deal that you possibly can get, right? That's what this is all about. When you go to them, you're not just a number of like, oh, that's not that much. Okay, sounds good. See you later. And you walk in, you're like, did he listen to me at all? Or did she listen to me? Do they even know what my name was? Like, I don't feel like they were really in the same room with me. Come on, man. You've been in that situation before. I've been in that situation. I'm with lawyers, with car salesmen and doctors and everything else. You're like, wow, that was not a very fun experience at all from my standpoint. And this is where you really need somebody to pay attention and be really willing to fight for you. And that's what we have here with Habish, and Rotier. National reputation, hometown service. Check them out today. Learn more all about them at Habish.com. Again, Habish.com. Coming up next, our guy, I can't wait, Ross Uglem, the Packer Report, and his Green Bay football draft guide. Him, Jacob Morley, Jacob Wessendorf do an unbelievable job. It's like $12. And it is awesome. We've got it here, and we're going to use it coming up on Friday night for our show. He's straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Coming up on Friday, your chance to nominate new bumper music that will play starting in the month of May for this very, very show. So again, between 2 and 5 on Friday, you can nominate via the Nicolay Law Talk and text line any new bumper music that you may want to hear. So that's coming up Friday. Tomorrow, really, really abbreviated show. We'll be on the air at 2 o'clock like normal, but once the Brewers game is done, Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz will hop on after the last pitch. You make the switch to the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. And then I get to leave and go home and cut the grass. And I told Charlie, I said, dude, I can't wait. And Charlie's like, you are such an old man. No, but let me tell you something. Tommy Wirtz knows this. I got into a rhythm last year of on the weekends, usually Saturday or Sunday, I would time up cutting the grass for when Tommy had the leadoff show on. And I'd put on my headphones outside. Now, again, I look like a dork with my headphones. I get it. But my AM/FM headphones outside, and I listen to it while I cut the grass. So tomorrow, I'll be able to go home, cut the grass, and listen to Tim and Tommy do the postgame show. Perfect.
Oh, my God. That makes you sound so much less like an old man. You're so right, Sparky.
Shut up. All right. Let's get to somebody that I like talking to. He is Ross Uglem of the Packer Report. Joins us now on the guest hotline. Powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Ross, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, let's promote the Green Bay Football Draft Guide. We're using it for our show. We're doing our show on Friday night from 6 till 9:30, Charlie and I. And I've already bought it just like I did last year. And we used it last year when Charlie and Tommy did the first round as well. It is an awesome draft guide. Tell everybody about it and where they can get it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can go to Packer Report. It's linked in most of our recent articles. If you watch any of my stuff on the Daily Draft on YouTube or listen to it on the podcast, the link is always in the description. And if you just Google Green Bay Draft Guide, it is the top result. It's distributed by Gumroad, Gumroad. So if it's gumroad.com/Green Bay Draft Guide, that is us. So
it's a beautiful thing. And I downloaded this thing and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to print this out for me and Charlie. Damn, man, it's like 300 pages long. I would have to cut down a tree to print this thing out.
Yeah, it's not the most environmental thing to print off and to bind and copy our guide. I the first year we did it, I was so proud of it. I did that, but again, as a citizen of the earth, I've been just rocking the PDF on the tablet. I think that works.
I think it's on Earth Day today. I think is that right? Last year we did.
Certainly don't do it today.
No, last year we did print it out, pretty much all of it last year. And Charlie and Tommy had it all at their disposal for the first round. And I'm going to print out some of this. Maybe not today because it's Earth Day, but some of this will be printed out because it's rounds 2 and 3, Ross. I'm telling you right now, I guarantee you I'm not going to know every single player potentially the Packers could pick in the second and third round. The one thing that I'm looking at here is after listening to Gutekunst yesterday, he talks about need to add numbers to the cornerback room, and that's where they need to add the most numbers. And I always do my mock drafts on ProFootballNetwork.com all the time. And I've realized they can get a good corner still in the third round and go in a different direction in the second round if they want.
Yeah, it does seem, especially when you look at the corners that might be available, that kind of have those second round grades. And we don't know what, where Green Bay has guys graded, but a lot of the guys that you see in round 2 are like Avion Terrell. Yep. Well, he's light for them. He's slow for them. A number of things that, he's hurt, like things that Green Bay just doesn't like to do. Traden Stukes is old and probably a safety or a slot. Same thing with Keith Abney from Arizona State, probably a slot. And they just, Keontae Scott, one of my favorite players in this draft who will have a nice second round grade, is a slot. And with their confidence, and I think it's earned confidence after last year, with their confidence in Javon Bullard, I just think they're in the outside cornerback market.
Agreed. Yeah,
so
I totally agree.
What you're saying is correct. I mean, your round 3 guys like your Julian Neals and your Davison Igbinosun.
Dude, he holds everybody. He holds everybody. He goes in the grocery store. He holds a random lady going past him. He can't keep his hands off of offensive players. That dude scares me. I don't know about that dude.
Igbinosun?
Yes.
Yeah, if he didn't hold, he'd be a first round pick.
Well, but he does hold. That's the thing. He does hold. Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, your Julian Neals, even your Malik Muhammad, who is probably a little skinny for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get, especially at a premium position like cornerback, you don't get perfect prospects in round 3. But, guys the Packers might like, yeah, there's good options there. Or I tell you, and the board, whether it's, I enjoy FanSpeak, I enjoy PFF's mock draft simulator, I enjoy Stick to the Model simulator, like all those, right? But kind of no matter who I use or whose board I'm using, boy, the value to me is trading down. And a lot of times I end up taking a nose tackle at,
there you go,
62 or
okay,
65 or, however, trading down 10, 13 spots. But you're right. I mean, the corner, unless it's Chris Johnson from San Diego State, who's becoming less and less likely, and I think is even becoming more and more likely to hear his name called on Thursday.
End of one. Yep.
Yeah. I just, it's hard for me to marry non-slot Packers type corner with pick 52. It's very difficult.
Do you see a world in where they potentially go tight end or wide receiver in round 2?
I think wide receiver is more likely than tight end. And I like Sam Roush from Stanford as much as the next guy. The number 2 tight end that everybody loves or that everybody kind of has ranked there is Eli Stowers.
From Missouri?
Vanderbilt.
Oh, Vanderbilt. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But he's just kind of that like move tight end, Brevin Jordan type. Trying to think of another decent, but like just not what they do. They really have never, as much as I've kind of wanted that H-back type player, that like big slot tight end. It's just not what they do. Even Musgrave isn't really that, right? He's this tall, lanky seam stretcher, ideally. They just have not gone after that type of human. Chigakonkwo would be another one, right? Stowers is like that. I think the Max Clares at Ohio State, the Marlon Kleins at Michigan, Eli Raridan at Notre Dame, like those would be the types. And I don't see those as second round values. Receivers, and granted, I'm higher on these guys than some, but boy, I wouldn't blink about Bryce Lance from North Dakota State or Ted Hurst from Georgia State.
Second round? Hold on. In the second round for Lance? Like, I like Lance, but I like him more in the third round. You think he could go as early as in the second?
I have second round grades on Jeremy Bernard, Bryce Lance, and Ted Hurst. And I know they also like Chris Brazzell.
Yeah, I like Hurst.
They're just, there's not a lot of holes to the game. I think the number one thing that people worry about with Lance, and this is a super nerdy thing, is the late breakout age. And really, to me, man, that as close to the North Dakota State program as I am, that was just bluntly a mistake by the prior coaching staff. When he was given the opportunity to play, he had a 1,000-yard season, and then he backed that up with a 1,000-yard season. And he's a freak athlete. And yeah, he's older, but I just think as far as him, Jeremy Bernard and Ted Hurst, I do not have a big grade difference. They do different things, but any of those four, including Brazzell, I'd be fine with. And Brazzell's interesting because he is thinner. I mean, he fits their weight threshold, but he's also really tall and barely fits the weight threshold. So he doesn't look like Christian. He doesn't look like Wicks. He's tall and skinny. But with that said, some of the criticisms associated with Brazzell, you need to go back to his Tulane tape, because his Tennessee tape is like all the Tennessee guys, right? Only lines up on one side of the ball. They line up across the entire field. It's a ridiculous offense. It doesn't translate to the pros, and all that's valid. That Bryles, Baylor, Tennessee, all that, like Denzel Mims, you can go on and on about guys that just have not worked out from that system. I would ask you to go watch Brazzell at Tulane and see what he did in a real system. Now, was Tulane running an NFL offense? Probably not, but at least it shows that there is versatility and understanding of how to play the receiver position beyond the weird stuff that you do in Tennessee's offense.
I have one more question. We have to get to our leadoff show here, but Tommy Wirtz can wait a couple of minutes. I want to get this question asked. You start talking about Hurst and Brazzell and these taller wide receivers. If they do that in the second round, Is that an indication of maybe they're not going to go pay Christian Watson?
No. I mean, they're always, think of 2011, right? Think of the best offense they've ever had. Driver, Jennings, Nelson, Cobb, and Jones. And they want to be stocked at that position. I mean, last year, Savion Williams had 11 rushing attempts and 10 passing attempts, targets. And I think one of those targets was downfield, and it was a absolute miracle ball heave. I think Watson, Reed, and Golden played 34 out of 51 possible games. They're one rolled ankle away from actually having to play Savion Williams. And I don't know that they're ready to do that. So, no, I mean, I think they need another receiver that they feel like can be an actual part of the offense for depth and for rotation. I mean, honestly, too, on base downs, now that Wicks is gone, do you think Golden and Reed are going to block people for Matt LaFleur and Josh Jacobs? I think they want another big body to run out there on first down.
Yep, that would make sense for sure. That's why he does what he does. Ross Uglem, go get that Green Bay draft guide today, part of Packer Report. They do a great job with it. On X at Ross Uglem. Gumroad is the publisher that puts it out. What is it, like $11.99 or something like that, and gets emailed right to your email, like within minutes of you actually buying it.
How about this? Promo code DRAFT for 10% off. Just for your listeners. I'm joking. It's not just for them, but I will hook up your listeners. Promo code DRAFT for 10% off.
Well, you couldn't have let us feel special. Just, we never would have known the difference, Ross. We could have just went with it and said it was for our listeners. But
that means you don't watch the daily draft, and now I'm offended.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I like the exclusivity that I get when it's you and me, because then I'm yelling at YouTube and yelling at you, and then you can't respond, and then that's not as
there
fun.
We go.
Yeah. Ross, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And that draft guide is numero uno in my heart. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
There he is. Ross Uglem on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. And again, this draft guide is broken down by specific traits that the Packers look for in every position group. They've got like literal charts of all the different numbers and who makes sense and who doesn't. And it's meant for you. It's not meant for Bears fans like Charlie. It's not meant for Vikings fans like Tommy. It's only meant for Packers fans at the end of the day. That's who it's really meant for at the end of the day. What's wrong?
Why'd you call Tommy a Vikings fan?
And here wearing like those Wilmer Stings stuff yesterday, supporting Minnesota teams. I mean, my goodness gracious. Oh, he's fine. He'll get over it. Joining us next is Tommy Wirtz. Time for the leadoff show, getting ready for Brewers and the Detroit Tigers. I'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Enjoy your night, Wisconsin. Toodles.